off and running on the topic of trade. For more on it, I'm joined by current affairs commentator Einar Tangen. Good to see you, Einar. As you just heard from Eugene Jung, there's quite a few sticking points. What's the key issue here, you think?
Well, Philip, first off, happy Turkey Day. And second, it's politics, really. I mean, the issue is this could add 1% to almost 1% to the Korean economy. It's something that's badly needed. Trade has been down across Southeast Asia and in particular in South Korea. So they need to do something. The question is, what are the trade-offs going to be? So this is more a political animal than a reality. If you start looking at how this particular FTA has been negotiated, it's quite a bit more lenient than the TPP that South Korea has not actually joined yet, but is contemplating. So it's just a question of time whether the opposition thinks that there's going to score political points by holding this up.
So this opposition of political points that you're talking about, Eugene was saying that the timeline is approaching, though. I mean, how long can they really hold out for here?
Well, it's really a question of how they see the political advantage. I mean, if they want to embarrass the president of South Korea, they can certainly hold it up. I don't think that will actually be the end. I think this is just political maneuvering. Certain segments are being supported by different industries and saying, look, can we get a little bit better deal? But this is a really kind of take it or leave it situation. So it's a question of, will they allow it to go through within this year?
For China, I mean, South Korea is already a very big trading partner for China. How does China gain from this deal?
Well, China gains because it's opening up access market. All the countries involved in Asia have seen a real global downturn, and trade between them has gone down. Remember, this is one part of a three-part trade agreement between China, Japan, and Korea. Korea is taking the first steps to get this ratified. Hopefully, it'll put more pressure on China to do it. But it's really about future economic growth. For Japan, it represents 0.5%, which for them is huge, given the kind of uphill battle they've been facing under Abenomics. 1% to the Korean economy would be massive in terms of overall growth, and it's about 2% for China. So it's a win-win proposition for all involved. The question is just getting over the political hurdles and having the opposition say, oh, gee, we're really looking this over very carefully.
Very quickly, since you mentioned it, I want to ask you about Japan. The economy there hasn't been as great as some would have liked, and I'm wondering, does that put additional pressure to get a deal done, or rather the flip side of it, it might enact more protectionism measures, which would ultimately hurt a final deal?
No, I mean, it was an uneasy meeting at best between South Korea, Japan, and China last time around. You'll recall that Abe did not get a state dinner, whereas she did. It's one of those situations where they really need to get things going. Abenomics has not produced what it was promised. You see a lot of activity over there. This is something concrete which would help. The question is, can they get over it? Like I said, this is a completely different deal from TPP, which has generally like a 5-year compliance period to get rid of tariffs. This is allowing them as much as 20 years and allowing almost 10% of the economy to kind of be excluded. So it's a go slow approach that should be winning plaudits. But there's a lot of going back and forth over the different trade deals, RCEP, TPP, and the trilateral FTA. I mean, you start running these things, but basically people should look at this as China and the U.S. are kind of jockeying with their different things. For China, it's more regional in this case, and it's following on the heels of the ASEAN upgrade. And for the U.S., it's really about what's going to happen in the Pacific and how much interest they have as they go forward, how much influence, I should say.